So by now we have finished the left-hand side, the skill level 1 checklist. The skill level 1 checklist is basically how do we go around and play with Excel in a more aesthetic view. So how do I look at the different items and change them to make a beautiful presentation of my data. So these items on skill level 2, this right side, these are the items that exist to analyze that data, to take all of this data and make it into meaningful information. So the first skill that we're going to work on is filtering data. So to filter data means to take out the pieces that we don't want and only look at the pieces that we do want. So let's go ahead and work in raw data number 2. Raw data number 2 is SAT scores from all the states from 1990 to 2004 in verbal and math. So if you scroll over, you'll see there's a lot of information here, a lot of information. However, I'm only interested in one or two things. So go ahead and scroll down to the bottom below here, and in cell 64A, go ahead and type this question. What states had scores higher than 500 for 2004 on the verbal section? I'm going to go ahead and make it bold just so it sticks out a little bit more. So this is the question I want you to answer. What states had scores higher than 500 on the 2004 verbal section? So we can go up. Here's our 2004 verbal section. So I want to look who had higher than 500. New York, no. Connecticut, yes. Massachusetts, yes. New Jersey, yes. New Hampshire, yes. DC, no. Maine, yes. Pennsylvania, yes. Delaware was at 500, so not greater than 500. And I can keep going, and you can see that this is going to take me a while, especially if I'm going to have to copy and paste every single one down there. And if there was only a way that I could just get the information that I want, well, there is. It's called filtering your data. So let's go ahead and click on the title. This is the item that we want to filter. We want to filter the SAT-1 verbal scores. So we're going to click, and I'm going to drag. Go ahead and drag it all the way till you get down to North Dakota. When you get down to North Dakota, go ahead and let go. If you need to pause the video at any time, you may go ahead and do that. Once you have this data selected, what we want to do is go up to the button here that looks like a funnel. The funnel means it's going to filter it. It's only going to give us the piece of information that we want. So click it. When you click it, you're going to notice on the title right here, it gives us a little drop-down arrow. So let's click the drop-down arrow. So this is giving us choices on how do we want to filter it. What info do we want? What info don't we want? So we want to go ahead and we want to sort it ascending. Okay. Oh, scratch that. Don't do that. We want to sort it by value. So we want to go ahead and choose greater than, and the number that we had chosen was 500. So once you are good with that, you should see over here that we have our items that are greater than 500. None of the scores that are left here are below 500 anymore. So what we could do then is these are the states that we know scored above 500. We can go ahead and copy and paste all of the schools that scored above 500. Command C for copy, Command V for paste. If you need any additional assistance with that, please ask your teacher. So we have this filter of schools who scored below 500, right? We also have some other things. We could sort it by color, which we haven't done yet. So let's just do this. Let's sort it by the top 10. So the top 10 schools that we have, or top 10 states, were Illinois, Minnesota, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Arkansas. Well, California's not there. Let's see if we can find out where California is. Let's go to bottom 10. Data changes, bottom 10 schools, and there's California, 501. We did still beat a couple states though. We beat Texas, Hawaii, South Carolina, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia. So what I want you guys to do now is, just like we created a question here, go ahead and create another question for yourself, right? So maybe off to the side, for example, you put what states had the lowest scores on the math section for 2004. So just like we did it for here, we can go ahead and do the same thing for math. So if you need to go back and watch the video again, please do so. When you're done with the filter, you always want to hit clear filter. So that gets all of our data back. So for example, if I wanted to do that one with the math, I'm going to click and drag over all the states, and you can go ahead and take it from there. You can do the rest. Okay? So what we're looking for is the answer to this question. What states had the lowest scores on math section for 2004?